So details about the large megaquake, I want to call it the mega thrust earthquake, that is coming, is soon to come. 9.0 or greater magnitude. This is all based off of the information that I have been led to, information that I've collected. So it will be triggered by a smaller quake that happens in just the right spot, or it will set off smaller quakes, what I like to call sister quakes, on opposite ends of either the ring of fire, opposite ends of the world, or opposite ends of the tectonic plate that the quake happens on, creating something kind of like an earthquake ping pong, where it's a larger quake, a smaller quake, a larger quake, a smaller quake, larger quake, smaller quake. Solid Earth, or what we like to think of as solid, stable Earth, will feel like I just keep getting this emphasized over and over again, it will feel like a liquid. It will feel fluid, like a rolling wave. I just keep getting the word liquid, 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 almost like gelatinous. How it's like not quite this consistency of water, not quite as fluid as water. Still has like a little bit of bounce to it, but I wouldn't call it a solid either. It's that weird in between, like not liquid, not solid. This, I don't know. Jello is not my thing. So like this gelatinous state. You know how like if you're little and you make squares of Jello and you take it and you shake it, like it's like brrr, and it keeps shaking. That is what this is. Also, keep in mind, there's an article that I posted a while back in one of my videos about how like an 8.8 magnitude earthquake in Chile in 2010 set off earthquakes in, I believe it was Antarctica, but it caused ice quakes, or like ice shelves to break. So I feel like that is connected with this also. I'm going to try to find the article again and post it below for you. And it may not happen in my area in California, but I know with a capital K-N-O-W that California will be affected majorly. Whether it is another area that triggers a smaller quake here, but still damaging smaller quakes, whether it is a tsunami, I'm not sure. I just know that we will be affected. Especially if the Earth turns into a gelatinous moving thing. So there's that. I'm trying to think of anything else that I had on it. But there's an article that I wanted to read. It's talking about like logarithms and the Richter scale, and I feel like it has a lot to do with what I'm talking about. Just so you guys can educate yourselves a little bit, I'll post it below also if you want to just read it. So it talks about, considered on their own, Richter scale numbers can be pretty misleading. The 6.9 earthquake in Peru on Sunday was actually 22 times stronger than the 6.0 in Napa. What does the Richter scale measure? Richter scale measures the amount of energy released during an earthquake, but it does so indirectly using a mathematical adjustment called a logarithm. The value of logarithms is that they help solve a basic problem with measuring earthquakes. The difference between small and large earthquakes is enormous, so big that it's genuinely hard to compare them. The problem arises for the Richter scale. A 6.0 earthquake isn't 6.0 of anything, and a 6.1 earthquake isn't just a little more powerful. It's 40% bigger. What you find is that a 1.0 increase on the Richter scale translates to a 30-fold increase in the size of an earthquake. So this is a 1-point increase, not a 0.1 increase. It's like going from a 4.0 to a 5.0. And this article deals directly with Massachusetts. I'm not sure why, but the last big earthquake to shake the ground of Massachusetts was a magnitude 5.8 event that radiated out from Virginia in 2011. It released 31 terajoules of energy, which is roughly the same as 30,000 lightning bolts. Yes, the earthquake in Napa was twice as powerful as that, despite being only 0.2 higher on the Richter scale. The magnitude 6.9 earthquake that struck Peru yesterday was 22 times as big as the Napa earthquake, and 11 times as big as the earthquake in 1775 in Massachusetts. This is what is connecting to me to the 9.0 here. In 1960, an earthquake measuring 9.5 on the Richter scale hit Chile. That's nearly 8,000 times more powerful than the earthquake in Peru, which was 7.0, and 350,000 times more powerful than the Virginia quake. So then it goes to talk about, are bigger quakes necessarily deadlier? All else being, hold on. There's a lot of factors to consider about quakes. Quakes that release the most energy aren't necessarily the deadliest. It depends on, number one, nearby populations. Obviously, if it hits a more populated area, there will probably be more damage, or what we consider to be damage to the naked eye. Two, quality of infrastructure. So basically, like if a large quake hits like a favela area or a shanty town, there's going to be a lot more damage than if it hits a city where there are like there are building codes for earthquakes and that kind of thing. The depth. Some earthquakes happen deeper underground than others, and the deeper they are, the more limited their impact on those of us who live on the surface. And number four, indirect consequences. Here we go. Hundreds of thousands of people were killed in Indonesia when a 2004 earthquake triggered a massive tsunami. A 1970 earthquake off the coast of Peru triggered landslides that killed tens of thousands. So it's like a 6.0 earthquake could happen out in the middle of nowhere. And yes, it might damage like the earth, but it wouldn't necessarily hurt like human population life as we know it. But it could also trigger something that would hurt us, that would like come full circle and like a tsunami or landslide or something else. That is what's so dangerous about earthquakes. Anyway, there's that. And I had a few more notes. Let's see. So, earthquake warnings, like the numbers that I saw today. I got 3 warnings of 888. Usually I ignore 888 because it is also a repeating number. And repeating numbers mean something entirely different. But I'm starting to pay attention to them. So one of them was 8883, as in like 3.0, 8.0, ping pong. I got 3 warnings for 588, which is a 5.0 quake. One of them was 5887, which is 5.0, 7.0 ping pong. 188, which is just earthquakes in general. I got 4 warnings for 6.0, 688, and I got one warning for 788. So obviously my here comes the boom warning is still in effect. I think at least until the end of this month. Like at least until I want to say like the 27th, 28th. There's a lot going on right now as far as like energy wise. So here comes the boom. Still warning, still in effect. California warning, still in effect. Please share any comments below. I would really appreciate that. And I've got one more video coming. Hopefully I have the energy to make it tonight. In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.